Chapter 8. Everyone loses when anger rears its ugly head. On December 1st, 2016, former NFL player Joe McKnight and Ronald Gasser were involved in a road rage incident. These two men were driving erratically in separate vehicles for about 5 miles, shouting vulgarities at each other along the way. They stopped their vehicles at a traffic intersection in a New Orleans suburb. Gasser acknowledged that he shot McKnight from his car as McKnight was standing at Gassier's passenger side window. McKnight died as a result of the shooting, and Gasser was convicted of manslaughter. Anger reared its ugly head, resulting in a needless tragedy that will have long-lasting implications for everyone involved. The emotion of anger is never a solution for a problem. This reaction only inflames an issue and either delays or prevents its resolution. Anger can lead to harmful wrath and evil doing. Psalms offer us great wisdom regarding anger. Give up your anger, abandon your wrath, do not be provoked, it brings only harm. Psalm 37, verse 8. All of us are subject to real-world situations that can open the door for the emotion of anger. Disputes between husbands and wives can lead to high levels of anger. Often, these disagreements result from simple matters such as cleaning duties or clothing choices. Also, anger can arise due to more serious matters such as spending practices, work schedules, disciplining children, in-laws issues, and marital misconduct. Other situations where this emotion can occur are in the workplace, at family gatherings, among neighbors, at recreational activities, and at sporting events. Anger causes a wide range of behaviors. Raised voices are a common reaction. Some use a physical response to express their irritation, which can lead to abuse and injury. Family relationships, friendships, and job security are at risk when anger and abuse enter the situation. Nothing good happens when anger rears its ugly head. Anger management can be a solution for this emotion. It can be accomplished by taking control of ourselves. It is good sense in a man to be slow to anger, and it is his glory to overlook an offense. Proverbs 19, verse 11. The Mayo Clinic offers several tips to tame our tempers, which can be helpful. Take a time out before responding to a challenging situation. Think before you respond because it is easy to say something you later regret. Gather your thoughts together before doing anything and allow others to do the same. Consider possible solutions that will solve the dispute rather than focusing on an angry response. After you have calmed down and collected your thoughts, offer your comments in a constructive way without hurting others. Never hold a grudge or negative feelings against someone who angered you. Forgive, because an ongoing grudge has no value. Childcare is another situation where control of emotions is important. Parents, grandparents, and other family members face the challenges of the responsibility of raising or caring for children. When youngsters engage in misconduct, refuse to listen, and act irresponsibly, it is easy for caretakers to become exacerbated. Just as we instruct children to go into timeout mode, we need to do the same to properly manage a situation. We want our children to conduct themselves appropriately, but we have to be reasonable about the process. St. Paul tells us that parents should not provoke their children so much that they become discouraged. Colossians chapter 3, verse 21. Keep in mind that the response we make to the misconduct of our children will likely be imitated by them when they face the same situation later in life with their own youngsters. Many times, when we are faced with stressful situations, the emotion of anger is riding right below the surface. Even the simplest of circumstances can provoke an eruption. These are the times when we must be calm in order to avoid an unnecessary, unproductive, negative, or harmful response. What is the point of robbing our joy by a slowly simmering anger? Do not in spirit become quickly discontented, for discontent lodges in the bosom of a fool. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 9. Everyone should consider using life experiences as a foundation to develop self-control instincts. When I was 15 years old and learning to play the game of golf, I would often get very frustrated when my shots went awry. It was particularly frustrating for me when I would hit the ball into the water. My response as a teenager was to curse a few times and occasionally throw a golf club down the fairway. One afternoon, I was playing golf with my father and a couple of his friends when my emotions got the best of me. After hitting a second ball into the water on the same hole, I threw the club I was using high into the air, and it almost got stuck in a tree. Judge John Bowdle, who was playing with us that day, told me in a very kind way that it was time to grow up and stop this practice of venting my anger by tossing golf clubs. The comments by Judge Bowdle were embarrassing because I realized what a fool I had been. A few years ago, the billionaire investor Warren Buffett said, "It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it." If you think about that statement, you'll do things differently. Anger outbursts can hurt our reputation. I remember my mother telling us to stay away from certain people because they had a bad temper. She was fearful that her sons would be hurt by these folks. As the Psalms tell us, anger brings only harm. Psalm 37, verse 8. So, if we value our reputation, we will do things differently. We can't let anger rear its ugly head. Perhaps the simplest way to curb anger is to reflect on the words of the prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Spiritual treasures for reflection. Refrain from anger, abandon wrath, do not be provoked, it brings only harm. Psalm 37, verse 8. It is good sense in a man to be slow to anger, and it is his glory to overlook an offense. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 11. Do not in spirit become quickly discontented, for discontent lodges in the bosom of a fool. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 9.